Hi friends, welcome to Kavi's World. This video is for my nursing friends who are planning to take OET exam. Before starting, please share, like and subscribe my channel. Enable the bell icon for new videos. I'm going to talk regarding my experience and knowledge in cracking speaking module. Next we can see what is OET. As you know, OET is an international English language test that assesses the language communication skills of the healthcare professionals who seek to register and practice in English-speaking countries. It covers all 4 language skills, that is, reading, listening, writing and speaking, with an emphasis on communication in a healthcare environment. Next we can see new updates in OET speaking test. Actually there is no changes to the format of speaking subtest. However, new assessment criteria is introduced. The knowledge of assessment criteria is important to crack the exam. Now we can see the structure of the test. Initially, there is a short warm-up section about your professional background, following which you are given 2 role plays one by one and you have 3 minutes to prepare yourself for each role play. The interview is recorded and 2 different assessors in Australia then assess the recording. The interviewer is not assessing you at that point. Each role play is 5 minutes long. Now we can see the updated assessment criteria for speaking subtest. There are 2 main assessment criteria. One is linguistic criteria which carries 6 marks each, and the second one is communication criteria which carries 3 marks each. The main points in linguistic criteria is intelligibility, fluency, appropriateness of language, resources of grammar and expression. And in communication criteria, they will be seeing the relationship building, understanding and incorporating the patient's perspective, providing structure, information gathering and information giving. So next we can see the main points one by one. I'm not going to explain all the points in detail here. Most of them will be coming naturally when we are talking. So the main tip I want to give to you is to practice with a colleague or practice in front of a mirror and imagine that the mirror is a patient. So we can go to the linguistic criteria. The first one in the linguistic criteria is intelligibility. Intelligibility is how well your speech can be heard and understood. It includes pronunciation, intonation, stress, rhythm, pitch and your accent. The main tips I want to give you is consider each aspect that makes up this criterion, not just pronunciation but also use of stress to emphasize the most important information and use of intonation to signal whether you are asking a question or making a statement. Practice the pronunciation in English of common words and phrases you use in your profession. The next one is fluency. Fluency is how your speech is delivered in terms of the rate, that means speed, and natural flow of speech. The main tips are speak at a natural speed. If your speech is too slow, the listener might feel frustrated while he or she is waiting for you to finish or may lose the flow of the argument. Similarly, if the speed is too fast, it might be difficult for the listener to comprehend. The second tip is pauses contribute to an improved understanding. Therefore, use pauses effectively in your speaking. And aim for even speech, that means not broken up into fragments. Reduce excessive hesitation or speaking in bursts of language or excessive self-correction or fillers. The next main point is appropriateness of language. it including the use of suitable professional language and the ability to explain in simple terms as necessary and appropriately as per the given scenario of each role play. Always remember that you are talking to a patient, not to a professional. The main tips are: practice explaining medical and technical terms and procedures in an appropriate language, that is non-medical words, to patients. For instance, giving general advice for good health about diet, losing weight, care of wounds, smoking cessation, etc. Consider how your language will need to be adjusted to suit the patient type and context. For example, consider how your tone, pitch, and language will vary when you are delivering a bad news to a patient or when speaking to an angry or withdrawn or a depressed patient. Next point is resources of grammar and expression. It includes the accuracy and range of the language used. That means how effectively and naturally you can communicate in a healthcare setting. Tips include: demonstrate your ability by paraphrasing or use different phrases to communicate the same idea to the patient. Make sure you can form questions correctly, those questions that you often use with patients while investigating the present complaint or taking medical history, that is how long, when, and all. So next we can see regarding the communication criteria. In the communication criteria, the first one is relationship building, which consists of 4 sub-criteria. In that, the first one is initiating the interaction appropriately. So you have to greet your patient in a friendly, confident, and welcoming manner to establish rapport. Second one is demonstrating an attentive and respectful attitude. In that, you have to seek patient's permission or consent before asking any questions. You have to move on during the consultation, being sensitive to patients when talking about embarrassing matters. Third one is adopting a non-judgmental approach. In that, being accepting and respectful towards patients' views and avoid making any judgmental comments or statements. Fourth one is showing empathy for feelings or emotional state. Tips include to enhance active patient participation, employ patient engagement techniques, and use more open-ended questions to elicit information regarding patients' needs and preferences and encourage patients to ask questions. Make use of everyday language instead of medical jargon in communicating with patients or substitute decision makers. Next we can see some of the general tips in cracking speaking of OET. Remember that OET is a test of English language skills, not a test of professional knowledge. The medical information needed to carry out in the role play is provided on the cue card. The role play is designed so that knowledge of a medical condition or treatment will not advantage or disadvantage you in any way. You will be assessed on how effectively you deal with the communicative situation on the card, not on your knowledge of the specific medical topic. The general tip continues. The introductory section of the speaking subtest is not assessed. So utilize this time to warm up yourself and get used to speaking to the interviewer. During this time, ask the interviewer if you have any questions about what a word or phrase means, how it is pronounced, or how a role play works. When preparing for the OET test, practice using the communicative functions that you are likely to need in any consultation context. That means explaining, summarizing, clarifying, eliciting information, reassuring, etc. Another tip is Speak loudly and clearly at a natural speed. You are allowed to make notes on the cue card and keep it with you while performing the role play. Take time to read through the role play card carefully. Don't follow a formula for the role play that may not be appropriate. Example, sometimes you do not need to introduce yourself because it is clear that you know the patient already. Take the initiative to start the role play by yourself. Don't worry if the interviewer stops the role play after 5 minutes. There is no penalty for not completing all the elements on the role play card. So today's takeaway home message is: time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you have lost it, you can never get it back. So use your time wisely. Thanks for watching Kavi's World, and this session will be continued. Until then, bye and thank you again.